Boom! We are live in the direct with the great Frank Shields. An honor once again. It's always I feel for sure blessed and highly favored just to be here and be able
Yeah,
to
likewise.
speak to the world with serenity and kindness because that's our goal all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, Frank, today we're gonna keep going with our book review, and we're gonna start this with rain making.
Yes.
That's very interesting because it's something that is so far fetched in the mind of the Muggles or
Right.
anyone, pretty
Mm-hmm.
much even. Bro, I can wrap my head around it. I can see it
Mm-hmm.
happen, but just to say that you're gonna make rain appear or rainbows or like it's far. It's far on our spectrum of what is possible in our default state. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you go on, Frank, and
All
tell
right.
us about rainmaking, and then I'll do the read the French, and we spark our thoughts after, and boom.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. We will do. All right. Rainmaking. In ancient times, music was not a disconnected, separative entity to broadcast one's immature depression. It was connected with the pulse and vibration of the multiverse and the elements. Real music, when played properly, could thus invoke rain or make it disappear, depending upon the intention. And then there's a link at the bottom of the page of some videos where P is interacting with the elements with his sound and instruments and stuff.
Yeah. Faire la pluie. Dans les temps anciens, la musique n'était pas une entité séparative déconnectée pour diffuser sa dépression immature. C'était connecté à la pulsation et la vibration du multivers et les éléments. La véritable musique, quand jouée correctement, pouvait ainsi invoquer la pluie ou la faire disparaître, dépendant de l'intention. Puis comme Frank dit, il y a des liens en bas pour YouTube là, dans la page. Like I said, it's when you are in tune with nature and divine frequencies, because everything carries a frequency, even the clouds, the rain, everything that exists on earth,
Mhm.
in the firmament, everywhere carries a frequency. So if you align yourself with those frequencies, definitely you can create magic. You can create love magic.
Yeah.
The magic of making rain stop or appears or rainbows. I see that possible. But
Mhm.
of course, if you're sitting in front of a TV eating fucking nonsense pizza and craft dinner and Pepsi, I'm going to name it all again, you are not going to be so in tune with nature and the elements. And so,
Yes.
taking care of your body, aligning your body with proper frequency, well,
Mhm.
maybe I can do it also. It seems far-fetched for me today to say,
Right.
okay, but I see it possible. It's just I gotta work on my frequency alignment, and then
Mhm.
maybe Truman will make rain appear. No, it's it's possible. I see that very possible, and that's it. And if the music is played properly, again, music is frequency, so you send the proper frequency up there. Come
Mhm.
on, there's someone listening. You think what? It's a deaf mirror verse. I like the mirror verse too.
Right.
So for sure, if no, that's very possible. It's not, but dans les temps anciens, la musique n'était pas. That's it. In back in the day, music wasn't something off of nature like today. It's so
Right.
digital and stuff, and
Mhm.
so yeah, proper instrument, proper drums. The drums, the bass, all this. The drum is like a thunder. When you
Oh
hear
yeah.
the thunder up there, it's like a huge drum.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there is music in nature. So maybe with drums, because I know First Nations used to use a lot of drums and stuff to make noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Frank, tell me, I'm done.
Yeah. Rainmaking. Yeah, just like you were saying with the First Nations. I mean, people may have heard of that concept of rain dance, or different ways in which people. So it's not a completely out of the concept phenomenon, but in terms of how people are today, and what is the status quo of consciousness and perspective and things like that. Rainmaking is very far from where most people are today, right?
That's it.
Because, like P says, it's people have become very disconnected from nature through the programming that they have allowed themselves to be programmed by, and it works out for the beings who are wanting to manipulate and control and just have slaves, because the more connected with nature you are, the more you can have a higher degree of intelligence. And it's not so easy to be tricked. It's not so easy to be duped or fooled or taken advantage of whenever you are more connected with nature and the elements and divine, because you have a higher degree of discernment, intelligence, this kind of thing, right? And so
that didn't fall into a deaf ear, what you just said there.
mm-hmm.
You want to be dumbified? Sit in your living room in front of a TV or anything that is unnatural. You want to spark some intelligence because you have the divine intelligence within? Go to nature.
Exactly. Right.
There is blue screen in nature too. It's called the sky.
I love that.
I love what you said. I'm going to remember this one forever.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's just so true, because what we hear in the majority of music today is some form of the programming that they want, for the people, whether it's on the screen or whether it's coming through the speakers and everything like that. So he just comes out and says it in a very straightforward and in a funny way when he says, in ancient times, music wasn't a disconnected separative entity to broadcast one's immature depression, right? And so it makes sense that the beings are in a depressed state because they're exposing themselves to such unnaturality, and they're not taking the time and the effort to get out into the woods, into the forest, or even into their own yard, or the park or whatever. You have to start somewhere, right? So
when is the last time, like I'm asking people listening, when is the last time you took off your shoes and put your feet on the ground, even in your backyard?
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah. And a lot of people, have, I mean, I don't know if it's also because of the TV or the movies and stuff, or if it's just people's own particular idiosyncrasy or whatever. But I've heard a lot of people, even my mom is like, she's like, well, something about snakes, like what? I don't want to step on a snake, or like, what if there's bugs? And it's like, just look where you're going when you take your shoes off. And you can just talk to them and just be like, oh, gratitude, Earth, I'm so grateful. And like the Earth will hear you, and the beings around you, they don't want to get stepped on, so just make your presence known with some reverence and the things will get out of the way. I mean, be careful. Don't step on an anthill or a beehive or anything, but usually
you see them. They have bright colors too. So
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, this is all in relation to being connected to nature versus being disconnected from nature. And like P talks about in many different P logs, but, in an earlier one, when he's talking about real bliss and your DNA being on fire and being connected with nature and the elements, and magical things can start to happen. It's like a gateway can start to open whenever you start to develop that connection with the elements and with nature. And so, like he's talking about here with rainmaking, I mean, when you're really deeply connected, you can communicate with the elements, and you can communicate with nature, the wind, the air, the fire, the earth, the ether around us. They're not unconscious beings, you know.
And I would even add that if you go beyond that layer of elements, maybe eventually you can link to higher and divine, have really but I think it's in stages. Like, you're not gonna get a phone call to higher and divine because your intentions are divine. No, you gotta show in action.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when your action matches your speech,
Mhm.
often it doesn't. Look, maybe at that time, and if you go and you can master all the elements and everything that is surrounding you, because you are a god or a goddesses that should be here to create love their own reality. So if you get into that state, and then you get to not master but maybe play with the elements,
Right.
because having mastery over elements is not really my goal, but I can play with it.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I am humble. I have humility. I don't think I will master the elements in my life.
Right.
I'm a man here on earth, so it comes with limitation.
Right.
Yeah, there is a lot. So, but I'm sure if you go beyond this play with elements, you can probably very much play with higher and divine.
Oh yeah.
Source, the force, with that, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
God, Jah, call it the way you want.
Right. Yes.
Like, it gets there's so many names to higher and divine that we attach to it in different languages also.
Right.
What's up there? The force. Maybe it's down there. I don't know where it is, honestly.
It's
but I know it's everywhere around me.
All pervasive. Yes.
Yeah, it's everywhere, man. Like, it's in the blade of grass. It's everywhere. I see it everywhere. So that's why, when you go in nature, be respectful also, because it sees you, it hears you.
Yeah.
So rock and roll is the next one, Frank.
Yes. Rock and roll. Real rock and roll is about having individuation and independence. It's about taking responsibility for one's own self. Self being the body, mind, spirit, soul, trinity. It takes lots of discipline, learning attitude, and knowledge to get there. The prevalent, publicized, globalized version, which has idols who are basically suicidal and do not take any responsibility for the self, is not real rock and roll. That rock is never gonna roll. Real rock and roll is only by higher and divine, which can actually take one higher.
Rock and roll, le véritable rock and roll, c'est avoir de l'individualité, de l'indépendance. C'est prendre la responsabilité de soi. Le soi étant la trinité du corps, de l'esprit et de l'âme. Cela demande beaucoup de discipline, d'attitude, d'apprentissage et de connaissance pour en arriver là. This is not a freaking joke. Like, it's big. Anyway, we're going to get to it. La version courante, médiatisée à l'échelle mondiale, qui a des idoles qui sont essentiellement suicidaires et ne prennent aucune responsabilité pour eux-mêmes, n'est pas du rock and roll. Ce rock ne roulera jamais. Le vrai rock and roll est seulement du supérieur divin qui peut réellement élever un être. This is big because I was talking with that. It's so big.
This really good.
It's really good because I was exactly talking about this with Arthur, discipline and responsibility. The moment you start focusing on this, your life would completely have a different vibe. Yeah. And this is the big work on yourself, is to have discipline, a good learning attitude, and some fact worth knowing. Not nonsense freaking there's so much crap out there that people are ingesting also and stuff. So, real stuff worth knowing. And for sure, the world is not encouraging you to take responsibility for your beings, because what they want is they want to kill you. The system wants to kill you. It's simple. Okay, in every way possible. Kill your soul, so you stay completely in the dark and keep hurting yourself all your life until you are in the freaking ground or in the furnace burning. But they want to kill you. So beware of that. Once you're aware of that fact, everything changed. Come on. Hey, they want to kill me. You think I'm going to let them kill me? No. I'll take responsibility now for my own thinking, for my behavior, take responsibility over my food, my shelter, my a whole. Okay, it's not gonna happen overnight.
Right.
I'm still in the process, but I know what I gotta do, and I know I gotta let go of all the fake rock and roll out there. So I want to roll my rock, definitely. Definitely. Yes. And it's gonna freaking roll, baby. Woo! Yeah. I'm on fire. Go, Frank. It's on.
Yes. No, I love this epilogue. It is so true. Because rock and roll is it from the initial sense, from a kid, from a childhood, or like what I remember seeing and things like that when I was young. It's just like rock and roll is like these people who are, they're kind of like counter to like what you see with all the businesses and the suits and the ties and the people who are just like that. It's like a counterculture. It's like rock and roll. It's like, yeah, this is cool. It's like, we're going to do something different. We're not going to be like part of this mainstream. And it's kind of like, this whole thing that came like right before all the hippie generation with like the beats and like, and then all the hippie era where it was like about like peace and love. And it's like, no, we don't want to fight wars. We don't want to go out and like kill our brothers and sisters. We don't want, like, we want actually to do something that's going to be helpful. Like, we want peace, because that's the thing. The system's never going to give you peace. Like the system that's in place now, it's going to give you death, and it's going to give you pain and
destruction.
Yeah. And then like you're saying, like there's so many ways in which they utilize tactics to stupefy and dumb us down so that we can be slaves that are lethal. So they do it, like it kills people, like these foods that they feed us and these, different ways of kind of like retarding our consciousness. There's so many different ways that they implement to suppress us that it is very dangerous. So
I thought they cared about our health.
Right. The World Health Organization.
I was under that impression a few years ago.
The World Health Organization. Who is that? It doesn't seem to be a real being.
Anyway, we're not gonna get there today.
Yeah, exactly. But rock and roll. So it's something about it's about, and I love how Pete defines it. It's about individuation and independence. It's about taking responsibility for yourself. Because when you look around, like, who is doing that actually? Maybe there's some people who have some facets of that have started to say, hey, you know what? I want to grow my own food. Hey, you know what? I don't want to, be taking the medicines that all these allopathic doctors are giving us, because it doesn't seem like it's really working. It might like cover up a symptom, but it's not going to get to the root cause of like what's making me sick or why am I having these problems, And so maybe some people have started taking these little bits. So that's actually what's and what I really appreciate about P in the Vedic perspective is it comes in a very holistic package. It's about taking care and responsibility of the self, the diet that you eat, the kind of clothing that you're going to decide and choose for yourself to put on, the kind of people that you want to spend time around, the kind of words that you're going to speak. It's about really actually starting to become more aware and more conscious about these kind of things so that, you're not sabotaging yourself and doing things that are going to be harmful to yourself, knowingly or unknowingly. You start to awaken to what is actually good for you, and then what is actually detrimental to you, you know? So he says, so it's about individuation, independence, taking responsibility for yourself. What is the self? It is the body, mind, and spirit, soul, trinity, complex. And all this, it takes discipline, learning, attitude, knowledge. And like P has talked about, discipline in today's age has been shown as like, oh, I don't want that, you know, like I don't want to be, I don't want like this thing where I have to work so hard, you know. But actually, you do want that, because greatness, real things that are amazing and almost seems impossible come from like high levels of discipline and high levels of self-control and restraint, and directing it in the right way, you know, and implementing real knowledge that's going to get you somewhere. And that's what this Vedic perspective is like, how do you actually evolve? How do you harmonize yourself with the energies of nature, the earth, and the elements, and the stars in the sky, and everything like that? I mean, all this with, you know, the sciences of what exists on this plane, and then like the higher levels of like astrology and things like that. These are all these like metamorphic layers of existence and divine and stuff like that, which is so cool.
And there's probably ways also that we can like measure our level of vibration. Like the other day, I saw someone just with their finger making the water, making a pattern or something. Like, I'm sure probably if you up your vibe to a level of iron divine, you can probably make some beautiful patterns in the water all around you. Like it's same, because we live in some kind of waters also. Like, it's very humid here today, so I don't think it's not water. So it's very humid in the air. So probably our vibration also, when up to a certain level, we can also like create a magnificent, beautiful pattern of life around us.
Oh yeah.
Come on, we're here to. And what I like about PT, you were saying that before, is he focused on the basics. Like and I asked him so many questions. I brought him to places, man, that even me, I was like, shit. But he always go deep into the basic and how we're supposed to first, how to take care of our body. We don't know much here.
Yeah.
And we're on a permanent destruction until we stop it. So definitely we need to learn the basics, and PT focus a lot on the basics. So I really like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in this book.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, he says so many great things, and and then he comes to this point of the prevalent, publicized, globalized version of rock and roll, and so many people who aren't doing what actually the real point, definition, vibration of rock and roll is, in terms of like being something that's actually cool, something that's actually inspiring, something that's actually like, I want to do that, you know. I don't want to have to exactly be a copycat, but I want to be that in my own. I want to like come into my own, like, you know, rock and roll thing.
Yeah, my own light.
Exactly. So this whole point, like P says, you know, the fake version that they publicize, that rock is never going to roll. The Rolling Stones and all of the bits that they do, you know, because you think about today's modern rock and roll, like those musicians often are in a very deep trap of, you know, a false fame, and they're involved in drugs and so many scandals coming out, and you know, especially right now, all these people who have been music producers and stuff like that for so long, like what have they been doing behind the scenes? Are they actually living a life, like P's saying, where they're implementing discipline and they're actually focusing on like raising their consciousness? Because music is so powerful. It's like, it's such a beautiful medium to be able to share energy with and to be able to communicate with and all these kind of things. And so the beautiful part of like having someone who is really actually on a higher level, like to be able to communicate with people through the sound, through the beat, through the rhythms and the words, like all coming together, like it's a really awesome tapestry that just it's a really magical thing. I love
and
it.
it's often not just words, it's poetry, you know?
Yes,
Like
poetry.
you gotta involve some poetry into your
That is
music. I like when there's poetry. Like go search in your head the words that you need, and there.
Yeah.
And most artists out there that are exactly have great higher divine intention. You will hear it in their lyrics. They will praise higher and divine and not praise the woman so much. Like me, the love songs, I like it, but
Right.
it's perilous time, and the evil mankind is at his freaking all-time high. So come on, there is some love to spread, and I think music is a good medium to help our vibe, and also it's a good way to me, I love music, obviously. I think you people have noticed it. If you don't, because you haven't scrolled through this channel, because there is a heavy amount of music, and there will be even more coming. But exactly, to each their thing. I love reggae music since a very young age, so that's what woke me up. So why would I not promote that vibe? Like I would not be here without Bob Marley. Most probably, I can tell you today, definitely. So music is great when done properly. It can wake up some souls, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Electric guitar and electric bodies. Is that it? Next, I have it here. The French.
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. And this one's a 2-pager, so we'll go read this one and flip to the next. Electric guitar and electric bodies. Even though muggles should lay off all instruments, electric guitar is something they should completely avoid. The chances of making bad sounds with it are enormous. As in the realm of electricity, the sound choice is enormous. Wider aural spectrum equals mess with with equals. Wider aural spectrum to mess with equals greater aural damage. Electric guitar / amplifiers / effects only amplify the incoherence within. Most produce mosquito buzzes and jerky, hiccupy wailing. Usually, they hide the electric guitar behind bass, drums, and vocals. That's what producers and mixing engineers have done since the 50s. There has been no person who has been able to handle this instrument solo. That includes all the so-called guitar heroes and the millions trying on YouTube. To maintain continuity and coherence on any electric guitar requires one's own electrics, as in your kundalini, to be working properly. It is a magical device with complicated, almost quantum possibilities in terms of tones, overtones, harmonics, resonance, feedback, etc. Not an instrument for staggering back from the pub, folks. If played properly, a single electric guitar can produce more complex sounds than a whole orchestra while taking the whole thing into another dimension. It's not about moving your hands and fingers madly, which all muggles think guitar playing is about. It's about sound and holding the wave. One's level of evolution shows through everything one does. But with more loud, powerful electrical tools, it's all hyper-magnified. And if one cannot handle electric guitar properly, how is one going to handle another body, which is basically all electric, nerves, and brain in nature?
That's so good. OK, guitare électrique et corps électrique. Même si les moldus devraient laisser tomber tout instrument, la guitare électrique est quelque chose qui devrait complètement éviter. Les chances de créer de mauvais sons avec sont énormes. Vu que dans le domaine de l'électricité, le choix du son est énorme, plus grand spectre aurique endommagé, plus gros dommage aurique. Les guitares électriques, les amplificateurs, les effets ne font qu'amplifier l'incohérence intérieure. La plupart produisent des bourdements de moustiques et des gémissements de hockey saccadés. I like the expression. En général, ils cachent la guitare électrique derrière une guitare basse, des percussions, des chants. C'est ce que les producteurs ingénieurs du son ont fait depuis les années 1950. Il n'y a eu personne qui était capable de gérer cet instrument en solo. Cela inclut tous les soi-disant guitar heroes et les millions de tentatives sur YouTube. Maintenir la continuité et cohérence sur une guitare électrique demande sa propre électricité, Kundalini fonctionnant correctement. C'est un appareil magique avec des possibilités complexes presque quantiques en termes de tonalité, de notes, d'harmonique, de résonance, de feedback, etc. Pas un instrument pour chanceler en rentrant du pub. Si joué correctement, une simple guitare électrique peut produire des sons plus complexes qu'un orchestre entier en tout envoyant dans une autre dimension. Ce n'est pas une question de bouger vos mains et vos doigts frénétiquement. Tous les moldus pensent que c'est ça, jouer de la guitare. C'est une question de son et de tenir la vague. I like this one. Le niveau évolutif de chacun est révélé à travers chaque acte posé, mais avec des outils électriques sonores plus puissants, tout est hyper amplifié. Et si un être ne peut pas gérer la guitare électrique proprement, comment est-ce qu'un être va gérer un autre corps qui est essentiellement électrique, nerf, cerveau par nature? I love this one. It's great. It's a long one for sure, but I think definitely if you cannot master or have a grip over the electricity of your own body, how do you think you're going to play with another electric body?
Yeah.
Even another human or anything that, because it's an electric mirrorverse. Yep. So multiverse, mirrorverse. So everything is electric. So of course, when we talk about self-mastery, it's also your electricity, your energy, your clarity. Like you're not plugged into a wall as far as I'm concerned. So you are electric and you have energy, but if you don't take care of that energy and align it and with proper frequencies, you're never going to be able to operate or manage those instruments in a proper way.
Right.
Definitely, the electric guitar is one of the instruments the most played probably on Earth.
Oh, yeah.
Acoustic guitar, electric guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot of sound being making with. It's something I like personally. I like the acoustic guitar a lot. But you can make a lot more sound with the electric, definitely. And it's I think it should be really considered to take this to another level for musicians and really align their own Kundalini electricity with Iron Divine in order to be inspired also to create nice tunes or something that is more fine-tuned or something.
Totally.
But there is an whole industry behind to pushing for the saccadé, that's what he talks about. Like sometimes it gets very, very annoying, the electric guitar, if it's not done properly. And I like what he said when he said holding the waves. Because really, it's surfing. Music is like a wave that you surf. So if you surf on a wave, you have to hold the waves. So it's the same principle with music. It's holding the wave. I like this. So Frank, tell me about the electric guitar.
Yeah. It's this is a great P-log, and it points to some things that, before hearing P talk about the various topics that P speaks on, I'd never heard anybody come to this point where he's like, it matters the level of consciousness of the person who's playing music, what you listen to, because it's going to affect you. And you don't like, that's something that I never really thought about. And I don't think any of the musicians, any of the people of the masses think about the pop stars that they're hearing singing to them or playing music or whatever, that it's going to affect them in a positive or negative way in an overall algorithm of their own life. They wouldn't see the music that they listen to as part of their diet, but it actually is. And I know that's a weird word, but like what they take in, what you take in as food, the sound is also going to have an effect, just in the same way as if you eat bad food, it will make you feel bad. Like if you listen to all this music that's just propitiating or continuing all these like negative vibes and all these depressed things, then, what do you think? You're going to kind of feel that, speak about that, want to kind of like reiterate that kind of thing, So,
I like what you said about the food, because music is exactly like food. You should be very, very careful what you put in. And not only that, if you go to a nice place to eat, they serve you good food and stuff, you will go back to again to eat. And so same thing with music. We should encourage musician that makes good music and go back, like PT has a Patreon page and stuff. Like don't hold back when it comes time to chip in for those musicians to keep making music. And that's how I approach it. It's like a good restaurant. That I'm not a restaurant eater. I'm just making an analogy here. I'm just giving you an example. If you go to a place, you eat good food, you will go back. Same thing with music.
Yes, exactly. And if you spent any time checking out some of P's music or listening to him speak about, his own take about how he approaches making sound, especially when he's in nature and stuff. Now, the pictures that we see in and around this P-log, excuse me, P is playing out in nature. He's playing in the elements. He's got all these different things going. He's playing at the ocean. He's playing at what looks like a lake, and he's got like these different cool looking skies and the lightning and everything going around him. And he talks about whenever he's playing in elements, he's like, he plays, and like you're talking about too, a mirror verse. He plays in a mirror-esque kind of way. He's like, if I'm playing around water, then like I make like watery sounds. I make things that are going to embed with the environment, and so if he is like on a mountaintop and there's a lot of wind and air going, then he plays in a very kind of like flowing, kind of like blusterous way. And there's a lot of different types of sounds and music that P makes, but I'm just pointing that out because that's a very unique part of how P plays with the elements in nature with these instruments, because like P says too, the guitar is a very highly technical instrument that you can do a lot of things with. This is a very magical thing. And so, like this type of awareness that P is helping us to cultivate and just kind of have a knowing of, it really makes one feel like people need education, because there's a lot of people making music out there, and music is a great thing. I think everyone loves music to some degree or another. Some kind of something has moved them and they've enjoyed it in their life in the past. And just think about the potential of if the musicians of the world had just a little bit more education, and not even just a little bit, but all the way up to P's level. I mean, that's great. We would love to have more available content that is going to be sharing positive vibrations with us, and not just playing the same old story over and over again of like, the depression, or like you're just confused and you don't know what to do, or this whole thing of the pretension, or saying I'm this and I'm that when you're really not, because there's a whole lot of that, especially, I mean, I'm sure every genre has that, but definitely in the rap field, the hip hop, everything, there's a lot of self-proclaimed, like, oh, I'm the baddest this and I'm the this that, and but what are they really, other than just people taking a paycheck to just promote bad lifestyle and bad choices.
Exactly. And often even the producers behind the music have often zero awareness of who they are, where they are, all this. So they just go along with the programming. Yeah, they might bring out good music and stuff, you might think. But what kind of awareness do you have as a being? Like, is that awareness translated into your music?
Right.
That's what I'm doing. Like, and I, for sure, pay attention to lyrics, especially. That's the next part, is singing. And there's a lot of verbal diarrhea coming out of our mouths in music. So definitely, I think it's a match. You can do instrumentals music, which is very good too. But now these days, it's a lot lyrics over the music, and often it's just verbal diarrhea music, diarrhea lyrics. Makes a very bad sound, and yeah, we know it, and we don't need to point. You said it, hip hop and stuff. There's some stuff that are good, but most is, exactly.
Yeah, it's not hard to spot out, and it is much harder to. It's much harder to find music that has real meaning. That actually, like P says, when you're done listening to the music, or when you're done being at the concert, do you feel like going and evolving yourself? Do you feel like going in and doing the right thing, or do you feel like, just getting sucked back into that wave of the systematic destruction that is prevalent?
Because back in the day, like, just to give an example, I was big on Metallica and stuff like that, and today I look at James Hetfield on the stage or behind stage, a gros fucking big cigar in the mouth and stuff. And,
right.
What kind of awareness is this, bro? Like, if you're like, so there, that kind of stuff, if the being is portraying more awareness into their sounds, you're gonna feel it, and then you will be maybe inspired when you get out of there to make a change in your life, because music should be for healing. Like, I think it has a great healing power, a great it can put stuff into your head that, like, for example, Bob Marley will talk about Babylon, reggae music will talk about Babylon and stuff. So even that, you're not even aware often that there is a system in place in your default state. Right. You just think that's life and that's normal. And we've been programmed to live also in no vibration, according to match the system vibe. But once you get out of that programming, now the vibes start to go up, and the music vibrations start to go up also, definitely. And you are more selective towards what you're gonna listen.
Definitely.
So next one is singing. Maybe that will be our last one for
we can close on this one today. Singing. There are lots of attempts at singing by various gene pools here on Earth. From an objective outsider's look, it is seen that most of these gene pools haven't even learned to speak properly, as in speak from the center of their mouths. They all speak in lopsided, twisted ways, either to the left or to the right. If you don't believe, switch on the telly and start paying attention. Toddlers learn to walk before they run, but here, people learn to sing before they learn to speak, before they can speak. All twisted and annoying, wailing, screaming passes off as singing, as long as it aims to hit some funny intervals called notes. No intonation or mantric power in the voice is seen as a requirement for singing. In fact, it is taboo to be that impactful. Singing is, after all, just one part of the light entertainment circus. Knowing is also not seen as having any relation with the voicing, despite the fact that all tales tell an opposite tale. The voice of Bene Gesserits in Dune, which can command, or the voice of sages in the Puranas, which has a direct soul impact. Anything real with any power has to be avoided, simply because it's not something one can relate to.
Yeah. Chanter. Chanter. Il y a beaucoup de tentatives au chant par les différents groupes génétiques ici sur Terre. D'un point de vue objectif, d'outsider, il a été vu que la plupart des groupes génétiques n'ont même pas appris à parler correctement. Parler du centre de leur bouche. Ils parlent tous de manière bancale, tordue, soit trop à gauche ou soit trop à droite. Si vous n'y croyez pas, allumez la télé et commencez à y prêter attention. Les bambins apprennent à marcher avant de courir. Mais ici, les gens apprennent à chanter avant de pouvoir parler. Tous ces gémissements agaçants et cris tordus se font passer pour des chants du moment qu'ils visent à caler dans des curieux intervalles appelés notes. Pas d'intonation ou de pouvoir mantrique dans la voix. N'est perçu comme un prérequis pour chanter. En fait, c'est tabou d'être aussi impactant. Chanter n'est qu'après tout juste une partie du cirque de divertissement léger. La connaissance n'est pas vue non plus comme ayant une relation avec le voisement. En dépit du fait que tous les contes comptant un conte opposé, la voix de Bénégériste dans Dune qui veut commander ou la voix des sages des Puranas qui a un effet direct sur l'âme. Toute vraie chose avec tout vrai pouvoir doit être évitée simplement parce que ce n'est pas quelque chose auquel une personne peut s'identifier. Singing, that's a big one because most artists with the A-R-T-I-S-T, not H-E-R-T, most artists out there just have verbal diarrhea coming up their mouth and have zero awareness. And I think anyone that picks up a microphone should make sure, like before even coming here on YouTube, before I came here, I wanted to know the truth because I didn't want to mess with people's rise more than it's messed up now. So I said I gotta go acquire some knowledge before I open my mouth into a microphone.
Yeah.
Not saying I know it all. Not saying that. But today I know the big picture.
Yeah.
I'm outside of the frame, so I see it. But, doesn't necessarily signify that I know everything. And I don't think I'll know everything. But the awareness is there that when I open my mouth, it's going to be with serenity and kindness. Not hate, jealousy, envy, and all those lower man-made emotions that are not real. Because hate and stuff like that is not real. It's something men have made up because a child born in nature doesn't hate nature, doesn't hate others, doesn't hate animals. So it's all man-made. So we live in a man-made world of emotion, man-made food. Once you turn this man-made nonsense towards iron divine and iron divine food and iron divine music, and everything change. Your vibration will change, like he said. There used to be peoples that used to sing to you to heal you. Like today, what they sing is to bring you more deeper down into hell.
Mm-hmm.
Your hellish ways and your hellish thinking and everything that has to do with hell. So you want to get out of hell. Good news, we can. But
Yeah.
with more discipline, especially towards what we hear. And there's so much nonsense out there. And especially, what are you singing about? Loving another imperfect being? Like most songs you hear out there, that's what it is. It's
Yeah.
about loving another imperfect being. Oh, that's going to make you evolve. You know, why not give praises to the higher and to higher and divine?
Mm-hmm.
Praise the Most High. If you're going to praise something into your song, praise God, the Most High. Whatever is higher and divine than you, praise it to eternity.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
It's on you, Frank.
Yeah. Yeah, singing is, yet again, P makes another great point. I love how he says toddlers learn how to walk before they run, but here people learn how to sing before they can speak, right? You have to just not be babbling some verbal diarrhea, right?
Exactly.
You have to actually start to awaken to what is it that I'm saying actually? What, like, like that's a good thing to ask yourself, and maybe ask yourself some questions about your own self and your own existence before you decide to start wanting to sing. Like, who am I? What am I doing here? Why is my life this way? Where do I want to go, and how do I get there?
They say think before you speak. Maybe you should think before you sing.
Right. Get sorted. Start the sorting process, because we don't need any more like confusion or dissonance or things that are just going to be adding to a bad flavor. We want to make a good dish. We want it to be spiced right. We want the things that we put into our dish to improve our digestion or assimilation of the nutrients into the body. And so we want the music that we expose ourselves to also be carrying that wave of, okay, we want to evolve. We want to be connected with the source. We want to be connected with divine. We don't want pain. We've had enough of that. Like we've gotten that experience in this life, and we know from having that experience, we want to go toward peace. We want to go toward harmony. We want to go toward love and positivity and intelligence, and all these wonderful qualities that come along on the evolving path. But like
I really love what you said, because intelligence is found in nature, not in front of a TV.
No, exactly.
Oh, I'm going to repeat it often.
Yeah. But then Pete points out here, let's see, that, that no intonation or mantric power in the voice is seen as a requirement, right? And so that bit of like bringing a knowledge of what's real and what's going to evolve us, like that should be like a vibration that exists within us before projecting our voices through a microphone, through an amplifier to bigger crowds of people, a larger audience of ears, and let's see, well, he said something else that, let's see, twisted and annoying is a requirement. In fact, he says, in fact, so if you do have that, it's seen as taboo. And that's when the producers are like, you got to change this lyric. If you want us to sign your album and produce it for the masses, you got to change this lyric, because we're not going to allow, we're not going to, and that's how these big record companies and these big labels, they filter the artists, because if the artists are actually going to be coming out with something that is going to help people connect the dots and help people start to awaken and rise. They're going to be like, and that's why there's a lot of like independent labels or music that is going to be able to produce something that doesn't have to go through that filter.
Full Productions.
Exactly, right. And so like he's connecting the dots that, like I said earlier, I had never heard anybody putting these points together, and it all makes sense, but actually he's the first one really come out here and saying it with a lot of clarity and a lot of just helping us realize the importance that, because they have the thing, this like, there's like a saying that it might even be in some of reggae songs, but he's like, if you can talk, you can sing. If you can walk, you can dance. But actually just being able to talk doesn't mean that you can sing, because you need to start actually putting, if you can talk consciously, then your singing is worth listening to, and if you can walk an evolving life, then it's going to turn into a dance because it's fun, and it's gonna flow with the fluctuations and the beauty of life and the sunrise and the sunset, and we'll be able to live a life that is positive and harmonious.
So maybe I should start singing. No, I'll leave that to Timpani.
Yeah. And even just having the poetry, because like you were saying earlier, like a positive poetry is something really nice to be able to hear and to take in. And so, even a lot of artists who have made music for the destructive system, they might not even be the original composers of those songs. They might just be an artist who can sing, or whatever musician, they can do these things like P says. They can hit the intervals, they can hit the right kind of notes, and somebody else is writing the content that they're singing about or producing for the masses. So, the artists, the musicians of the world need better writers, better poets to share things. If the musicians themselves aren't quite there yet, they at least need a better content to put out or something,
But the whole of the system is like not really geared that way. If I can say, like, it's really, we gotta grow into a massive awareness as a collective, and then all these nonsense will fade away eventually with time. It's starting to, like, look, Truman Production is on the rise, and there's not only me, there's a whole bunch of other people that are aware making music. PT is one of them. So once you bring the awareness and the truth, or I can say I know the truth. I don't want to say that. I know my truth. Once you're aware of the reality you live in, not the fiction. Not the fiction you live in, but the reality you live in, things start to shift. And it's going to shift into a whole new paradigm. And that will be translated into all the facets of your life. So for sure, a being with zero awareness, have never worked on themselves and like compose music, but smoke all day, drink all day, and all this would affect the produce that they put out, definitely. So I think an artist that is very well centered, balanced, aware, can use the word conscious. Don't like it so much. But I'm done being con. But I know people use it a lot, but to me it doesn't fit. Anyway, all the cons, all this is out. But presence, consciousness. Consciousness is what? Is you breathing, being conscious. You're unconscious, you still breathe, but you're not there.
Right. Yeah,
so that's why there is a lot of people unconscious in this world. They breathe, but they're not there.
Yeah.
So once you bring that presence, full, you meet life with full presence and power. You don't think life will not come and meet you with full presence and power and inspire you with proper words? Like, it's all a matter of frequency. Align with good frequency, and those matching frequency will come and join you, and you will get up on stage and you will know what to say. Do you think I come prepared here today? At all. At all. But do you think I'm nervous? At all. Do you think I'm in comfort? Yes. And I don't need to remember anything. I speak truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't come here with a script. So
Right.
that's the same thing. I know I will. I have trust in higher and divine. And I know I am supported. I know I'm blessed and highly favored, maybe chosen, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't take this lightly also. Like, it's not a joke. Life's not. Like, life is everything but a joke.
Right.
PT
serious. It's serious business.
Serious business. PT says that somewhere in the book.
Yes.
I get that from him. Life is everything but a joke.
Yeah.
But in our default state, it is everything but reality. So the joke, the fake. So I think it's just a matter of shifting our awareness and realize these things, because you're not going to wake up. You're going to realize things.
Mm-hmm.
Now your eyes are going to open and you will realize stuff that you have never realized before. But that's maybe an awakening. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But I've just realized stuff. Realized I was being conned. I was being taken for a fool. My soul was taken away. They want to take everything from you.
Mm-hmm.
Your life, your soul, your energy, everything until you're dead, because they want to profit out of you too. So they want to make it very slow. So all your life you keep hurting yourself until you die. And that's what they want. They profit out of this. Look at the system. So shift all the, and I don't know why I'm going there. No. Anyway, we're done. We're done. I'm not starting to talk about their freaking nonsense, because it doesn't make sense to me anymore. So, but sometimes I get caught up. I kind of. Oh, I'm frozen. Am I frozen?
Yeah, on your side.
Yeah, I'm frozen. That means it's time to go. Signify it's time to go.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so you two, you're not frozen. So
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm frozen anyway. Doesn't really matter. But you want to add something else, Frank, before we?
Well, yeah. I'm grateful that that P is here making these sounds and bringing our awareness to the importance of the things that we expose ourselves to musically. And I'm looking forward very much to more conscious music coming out, and people who are starting to work on developing real speech, real centered speech, and real centered living to join this this walk and this path, and have more music to celebrate divine and celebrate evolution and all these kind of things.
We're here to celebrate life, after all. Come on, music is good. It's good to be up and in with life, and so definitely we're here for a celebration of life. But you do not usually celebrate with low vibe. You need high vibe. So
because it's like when you have a good meal, you're like, ooh, like I want more of that. Or you hear some good music, you're like, ooh, I want more of that. Like I want to. And it can just, like P's music and things that are positive and uplifting, it becomes the soundtrack that you can put on, and it can just dial you back in, and you can just, all right, let's keep moving forward, and let's keep doing this walk, this dance. So,
this great dance of life, and don't be shy to dance with Iron Divine and play with Iron Divine, but it requires discipline, responsibility, and what's the other word he gave? Total focus or something. Awareness. Anyway, it's all awareness and realization. We'll leave it like that. So we're out, and we will be forward again next Moon Day. Most probably, if God wants, we will be here. If the divine choose to keep us here, we will be here.
That's it.
Okay, we're out.
See you in the next one.
See ya. Peace.